Alright guys, today's a very exciting day because the Cream S13 is finally getting tuned. If you remember last time we had it on the dyno and the head lifted, so we had to take care of that. There's also some weird vibration that actually was indeed a loose flywheel. To give you a brief explanation as to why the head lifted, I do have certain studs for my head. People use a certain type of stud instead of your basic ARP studs because they go deeper in the block, and the manufacturer calls for 60 foot-pounds of torque. However, I guess it's like a known industry thing that you don't listen to them and you go above and beyond that to 90 foot-pounds of torque. And we didn't know that, so we just did what the manufacturer recommended at 60 foot-pounds of torque. And that, in combination with not having a stopper head gasket, my head lifted once we started pushing it on the dyno. So that might have been why I've had all these weird coolant issues. But anyway, it's like a two and a half hour drive, and I'm always late because we have to come out to Tampa because that's where Martin tunes out of. But I was smart this time and actually came out the night before, stayed at my mom's house who lives out here now, and now I'm only like 5 minutes late instead of like having to worry about all the I-4 traffic that makes me dumb late. We're chilling, just spooling. How's my truck? What's really exciting about this is we do have the new Garrett G25 550 turbo, and there's not a lot of real data with that turbo on an SR yet, so I'm really curious to see kind of like what horsepower numbers it makes at what boost level. So that'll be very cool, and I'm excited for that. It should rip. It sounds sick. It's not a dyno session without the Cuban coffee, courtesy Martin. Literally every time I come here, I have bad plugs. I guess these ones probably just got washed down with coolant the last time when the head lifted. So, sorry Martin, I suck. To the craziest thing, look who came to hang out. Do you remember the very first time we got this car tuned?
I was literally thinking about that on the drive here.
We drove
it here.
Like 2 hours with the very first upgraded turbo I had on this car, got it tuned, and then raced an Aston Martin.
We put injectors in it here, remember?
Oh yeah, we did.
We put injectors in it here.
And then we beat an Aston Martin.
Did we? Yeah. I didn't know that's what it was. I thought it was a Porsche.
Well, no, well, he kind of beat us, but I kind of told myself that we beat him.
Yeah, we beat him.
Yeah,
he
we
was
beat
hyped,
him.
Though.
Yeah, he was. We got 312 on that one. So we have matching torque, 311.
Oh, it's blowing on your ass, it's blowing! Get him, get him, get him! Wow. We just picked up with an Aston Martin! Yeah! Thank you, Martin! Thank you, Martin! We kept up with an Aston Martin! Ah!
I love how this thing sounds. So the boost controller is acting up, but at somewhere around 25 PSI, the car already made 500 wheel, which is crazy. But as you can see, something weird is definitely going on. So quick that it almost sounds like something's wrong.
Well, this one, the boost controller was acting up. It was going into AFR cut. Something was happening with the AFR gauge.
That last pull was good though, right?
Yeah, this is the last pull. The red pull is the last pull. I'm gonna get rid of all the garbage.
That power band's so crazy.
Yeah, that comes on very quick.
My gauge isn't working, so we have to basically turn off the AFR cut. My car with the SCG1 will basically cut boost once it gets to a certain amount of leanness. So I'm gonna have to change out that O2 sensor when I get home. Right now we're just living on the edge. almost hitting full boost by like 4,200 RPM. What were the numbers on this one? 480 and 450 torque. Do you think we didn't hit the 500 number just because of heat soak?
No, just more due to line size. 5/16 line can only flow so much E85, and we're limited at this point. So
I still have the stock hard lines underneath the car. That's definitely the next thing that I need to upgrade. So to avoid it leaning out, are we just gonna basically take away some boost so to alleviate this, and then we can add more boost if I ever change the lines? Okay. That is in fifth, and I don't really ever drift in fifth, so I'd probably be fine in like a lower gear. Probably wouldn't run out of fuel, but obviously we want to just play it safe until I can do new lines. That's crazy though. 450 foot-pounds of torque on an SR. One thing that's also very baller, we're still on the stock intake manifold, so that's how we're getting such crazy torque numbers. We'd probably be like 50 more horsepower if we swapped that out. So we lowered it down to 22 PSI and got it to stay a nice clean line with AFRs until we can get that fuel taken care of. And it made 450 and 413 torque.
450, yeah, 450.
But the car is very, very heat soaked right now. It's done like 4 consecutive pulls, so probably an extra 20 on those two numbers.
Given that it is really hot today and really humid as always in Florida, these numbers probably come up another 20 to 30 at the same boost level once we cool off and lose our humidity in the wintertime. So something interesting to note here is that these two runs, 12 and 13 at the higher boost, 26, 27 PSI, versus this one at 22, 23 PSI. There's a massive difference down low in torque. As you can see, it's almost a 40 to 50 foot-pound of torque difference. But when you look up high, the numbers all run together. It's almost like they're overlaid, and the reason is this is basically a pinch point. It just runs out of air on a stock intake manifold. So once that's addressed, it'll continue making a horsepower change going up top.
Is there any sort of aftermarket manifold that is a little bit more like torque focused rather than all the ones that flow a ton but where you lose torque?
Yeah, so the Deatschwerks manifold is one of the best ones out there because one of the big complaints about the Garrett and the Garrett clones over the years has been that they drop so much low in torque, and that's true. You really do feel a massive difference. So the Deatschwerks one's kind of takes care of that. It's not a short runner manifold, it's a mid runner manifold. I like utilizing them. They make a ton of difference, as you guys have seen before in the past. Kelsey was out here and we did a back-to-back, and it dropped almost no torque down low, and it had all the advantages of a short runner up high, although it didn't drop any of the torque down low because it's a mid runner design. So we like using that one because that combines the best of both worlds.
I'll add it to my Christmas list.
Okay. This shifter feels so nice now. Does it? Oh, it looks nice. It looks so neat. Does it feel like a lot less, just bump it, or dump the clutch? Does it feel like a lot nimbler than the R32?
Yeah, for sure. It doesn't feel like that slow either.
You thought it would feel a lot slower?
Well, like in comparison to R32, I just thought it would feel like it has less meat. I mean, maybe a little bit less low end, but the ship spools so fast.
Yeah, it's responsive as hell.
That's fast.
It's fast!
Like, that gear, that was a shitty downshift. Like, we were gapping people in that run-up.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I wish I had longer gears though.
Yeah, yeah.
So we went from 420 wheel and 400 torque to now somewhere around 450 and 420 at the current setting until we do the fuel lines. I was a little concerned that it wouldn't spool as fast, but it definitely does. It literally feels identical, but with more power and more torque at less boost. Literally, we're running the same boost, making about an extra 30 wheel, an extra like 30 torque. So that's rad. Kind of weird having like a dyno day and only being here for like 45 minutes. It kind of feels like I missed out on something, it being uneventful, but I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah, I feel like normally it takes like 2 hours, 3 hours minimum. It's like, are we done? We're really done?
I'm just gonna put this out here. If you're ever coming out here to get your car tuned by Martin, or if he's coming out by you, bring BKR7E plugs. He's gonna make you put those in because your plugs are probably bad, all right? And then also make sure you have a relay for the fuel pump. That's another thing. Those are like the two main things that people always don't have. Bring extra coil packs.
That's important on an S chassis.
Yeah, it's like the number one thing that doesn't let him tune cars right.
Voltage drop going to the pump.
Yep.
Especially when you relocate the battery.
Now we're actually making a pretty cool pit stop over to St. Petersburg, Florida, where the Profile Racing headquarters is. If you're not familiar with Profile Racing, they basically make the best parts in BMX. They're definitely OGs and well known for like their cranks and their hubs. You guys remember I used to make videos making my Profile hubs louder. So I'm going to pick up some new parts for a new bike that I'm building. Another cool fact too that I recently learned about Profile, they actually used to be called Profile Race Cars, and I think they did stuff like chassis fabrication. And someone was telling me they got the idea for like the splines of their cranks from a steering column or something. I don't know if that's true or not, but I think it's pretty cool that they kind of have an automotive background, and you can kind of see in the way that like tolerances of their parts compared to other like Taiwan made crap. All right, so I got my box of goodies. Next time they said if we give them a little bit more of a heads up, we can get a tour of the machine shop, but I got some rad stuff in here. I'm gonna have to wait though to show you guys when I start building up the new bike. Some exciting stuff. I love those guys. Gotta thank Martin as always for coming through and getting the S13 all tuned up and ready to rip. Of course, Z Fever for letting us use the dyno. Baby girl's about to be on track tomorrow. We're gonna do a quick testing day. Tommy's actually gonna drive my 350Z because no one else could really drive because we don't have enough tires. Nicole's gonna get some seat time in her car, but mainly Tommy's gonna be driving that, and I'm just gonna be practicing with the S13, making sure it holds up, making sure I can hold some decent tandems to get comfortable with the car again, and get ready for Super D. So anyway, car's in the trailer, all loaded up, and I will see you guys tomorrow. We got a crazy next 2 weeks lined up, but it should be rad. Not red, Brad. Dad. Mad. Pad.
Alright guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Click the like button. Check out my channel if you want to. It'll be linked below. Goodbye. That was a beautiful outro.
I kind of gave him an idea of other cars that I've seen and he ran with it. So down here he made an aluminum plate that's bolted to the trans tunnel. And instead of putting the master down here, it would be super bulky. We ran a rod from the handbrake to the master, which is tucked back here.